r/AskReddit, what's your example of sexism in everyday life? My husband and I went to a casual party. We were the youngest couple, mid-30s. We were chatting about how we have the chores divided. I'm a terrible cook and my husband is a great cook, so he does all the cooking. The faces of the older crowd was what I can only describe as flabbergasted. You could literally feel the awkwardness in the room. It wasn't much fun after that. My father received an endless stream of sexist bullshit when he chose to stay at home with me. My mother was very insistent on no daycare, and her job had better benefits than Dad's did. His friends gave him lots of shit for babysitting. Had a customer drop a wine bottle by my checkout lane. It was actually quite impressive. He dropped it, almost caught it on the top of his foot, and then it bounced off. Anyways, I was over sweeping up the broken glass when another customer comes over and starts scolding me for doing a man's job. I'm female. I'm sweeping. Even if jobs are gender specific, you've got your stereotypes backwards. My husband is a primary caregiver for our children right now. I'm the breadwinner. The school calls me. The teacher wants to talk to me. The other parents get antsy when he arranges a play date. I've had people assume that my kids are poorly raised or supervised because of my working hours. I live in a fairly progressive place and it's a bit WTF on a regular basis. Yes, when they were babies, I stayed home. Now, I'm the one working more, and he is home more often than I am. We are equals and partners. He doesn't need to ask me what brand of snacks I feed the kids, or whatever the issue is, because he is a competent adult and parent. I'm not a bad mom for working the way I do to provide for my kids. Edit, thanks teacher and school admins. He is listed as primary contact. In an emergency or robber calls situation, he is called first. The system in place for that is okay. The problem arises with the little less urgent stuff. Costumes for the school play? Bake sale? Birthday treats? I get that. It varies by year. Some teachers are better about this than others. Some schools are also better about this than others. When my wife is out, she is frequently asked, if you're here, who is looking after your baby? Me. The baby's father. That's who. I'm a 5th year medical student. I'll be a doctor in less than 2 years. People still refer to me as nurse, and the other men that I'm in the same room with are called doctors automatically, as long as they're wearing a white coat. I highly respect nurses, I just hate this type of presumption. Assuming I know nothing, and you can take advantage of me when I bring my car to the shop. I know I don't need that $1,000 flux capacitor you're trying to sell me. When I first met my dad in my early 20s, he frustrated me so much. I had a BF at the time who didn't drive. Never had driven a car, and didn't know a darn thing about them. My father knew this. He would still say things like, "Oh, have you checked your oil lately?" "Yeah. I checked it. It's fine." "Yeah, okay. Well, maybe have your BF look at it too. Why? I know how to check my oil. I checked it a few days ago, and it was fine." "Yeah. I know. But, have him check it anyway." The guy never drove. I ended up teaching him how to drive toward the end of our relationship, but at the time he had never been behind a wheel, checked oil or tire pressure, or even pumped gas. He'd also tell me about certain roads which were bad for cops giving tickets, and he'd make offhand comments like, "Road over there is just awful for tickets." Awful. You can be doing only 3 over the speed limit, and they'll pull you over. It's ridiculous. Of course, I'm sure your BF knows all about that area. No. Because he doesn't drive. He always automatically assumed whatever guy I was with knows everything about cars and driving and whatnot, and that I was completely clueless. He still does stuff like that all the time with my husband. My husband can drive at least, but he still assumes my husband knows more than I do on any given subject. I'm a woman that's decent at fixing the ultra basic tech issues at work, like computer not connecting to the TV right, printer crap, formatting stuff, etc. And I was never allowed to fix things and just had to watch the men allowed to help, same work status men, not it guys, fail repeatedly until one man told the man that ran the store he had to let me fix things cause they were wasting too much time. I would basically beg to be allowed to help out of sheer frustration, so it's not like boss man didn't know I could fix stuff once we sat through a whole financials meeting with no visual on the numbers, because one of the men allowed to help plugged both ends of the HDMI into the TV. Try to plan a wedding as a groom. Literally no one will talk to you without the bride present. Sometimes they won't even talk to you if she is present. Edit. The number of people defending or making excuses for the sexist sheet wedding in a thread about sexism is amazing. I work at a liquor store and you would be amazed how many men have to justify purchasing wine, or really anything, that isn't beer or whiskey, by saying it's for their wife/GF. I say let people get drunk on whatever they want. End drink shaming in 2020. Dinners with my family, dad gets mad at me for relaxing and not helping cook/clean. Both brothers are also relaxing and nothing is said to either of them. Edit. A lot of people are bringing up men and yard work, men's work. No one should be assigned chores based solely on their gender. I loved yard work growing up and would fight to have mowing as my chore. Plenty of men out there hate yard work but would love to be in the kitchen. Yes, it goes both ways and both ways are sexist. I'm weekend bar staff at a pub. The current manager and the previous two were all women. The customers won't listen if they say or said anything, instead looking at me. I just say, she's in charge, don't look at me, and it really confuses them. I'll admit, I probably take more of an no-nonsense approach to unruly customers than they do/did, and being sometimes the only guy on the bar I'm looked to throw someone out, maybe that's where it comes from. It annoyed the heck out of the last two when they weren't listened to, and I'm sure it annoys the current manager too, so I try my best to make sure I make customers aware that, just because I'm the only, or sometimes one of two blokes on the bar, that doesn't mean I'm in charge. My 34-year adult brother thought that when he moved in with me, I would just cook all of his meals and clean up after him. I'm his older sister, not his maid. I travel for work, and people make assumptions that it's inherently bad for my toddler to be without me for 3 to 7 day stretches once a month. They never say that when it's her dad out of town, you all had to upvote this and draw the whackers into my comments, you lovely wankers. Being a divorced dad, I see this all the time. I have shared parenting, which means everything should be equal, and I see my kids half the time. I'm lucky and the mom lets me have them this much. In court I only got every other weekend, and so she can take this away anytime she wants. If I want to take my kids to the doctors, I go to the docs with my divorce papers telling them I have full legal rights to do so. Wait a minute, sir, we have to call the mom to make sure she's okay with it. Thanks. Oh, and I have to do this every year to get back on the approved list. The kids' teachers only want to talk to the mom and give her all the info, but not me. Forms etc only going home when the mom has them, including report cards. Even though she's too lazy to even make it to the parent-teacher conferences, and I'm often there alone. I have to specifically call the office to get report cards photocopied and then pick them up. To get on the notifications of snow days and like I've had to request at least 10 plus times. Same with all other forms of communications. Same thing happened at their last school too. I've got many more examples of this. Women being called any variations of girl/pretty/thing when your male co-workers are called by their name. In an in-between job, women are assumed to be there because of lack of intelligence, while the men are just in between jobs. Women are assumed to do the womanly things like handling parties, coffee, other people. Women are assumed to be bubbly, social, and good with people/kids. Men assumed to offer their help with physical tasks. Assumed to be flirting when talking to the opposite sex, even if they are in a relationship. If single, it's assumed it's not by choice. Made fun of if sensual, show emotions or choose womanly hobbies or careers. Not having baby changing stations in men's bathrooms. Like what if they're out with the baby and the baby needs a diaper change suddenly and their wife isn't with them. Pink and blue collar jobs and how insanely difficult it is to get hired for one if you are the wrong sex. My mill tried to get a job at the local paper mill and was straight up told they only hired men. This is true for many of the higher paying rough lines of work like logging, vehicle repair, etc. Men, try getting hired as a secretary or teacher. Most don't even want to because the pay is shit, but they would still have difficulty. People are genuinely surprised when I say that my husband does the ironing. My husband and I moved from a north state to a southern state. I came to our new state to find a house and get set up while he stayed in our old state. I called all the utility companies to get our electric, gas and water turned on, and then I visited the insurance agent's office in person to transfer our auto insurance. When the bills started coming in, they were all in my husband's name. My husband, who never spoke to a utility company or met our insurance agent. Just so you don't think this was due to him making more money, having better credit, etc. I made 1.5 times what he did, and my credit score was 50 points higher. All our credit cards list me as the primary and him as the secondary. All of our accounts had been in my name in our northern state. I mentioned it once to a woman at my insurance agent's office and she quietly said, "Honey, you're preaching to the choir." Women and heart attacks, including pain resulting in massive heart scarring. You're too young to have a heart attack. This has killed plenty of young women, and others were found to have severe scarring before 50. Tests show no threat in the blood either, but visuals show the severe scarring, and one woman grabbed equipment so the nurse could see she was right in the middle of a heart attack. Doctors, take that chest pain seriously. Hysterical women should be an outdated phrase. I'm a property manager, and in my line of work we have to deal with a lot of disgruntled homie owners. Our staff is split about 50/50 between men and women, and everyone is pretty great at their job. It's not uncommon for someone to contact us completely irate over something trivial, and simply not accept the explanation for the problem and solution from a woman on our team. When they're all out of ideas on how to appease the homie owner, a woman on my team can transfer the call to me, a guy, and when I give the exact same explanation my colleague just did, the owner will suddenly accept it and be content. My mates always tip if it's a waitress serving us, but almost never if it's a waiter. They only tip dudes if they go above and beyond the call of duty. PS, to avoid any misunderstandings, I don't live in the US. Tipping is totally optional here, especially for small things like coffee. I have twins, and when they were young people would say to me, "OMG. You have twins? Your wife must be exhausted." Why? 2 kids, 2 parents. Oh no, wait, that's right, I spend my time in the smoking room at the country club drinking brandy and smoking cigars with the other husbands. Like and subscribe for more videos.